So here's a quick analysis on Constellation brand symbol STZ. Okay, first I already drew my trend line so I could limit the time length of this video, and since you already know a good bit of technical analysis like you said, I'm going to leave most of the basics out. Okay, so in the 5-year chart we have these important trend lines. Of course we have the long-term ones first in black, and these over here, which probably won't hold any more significance for now, so I'll get rid of those. This one looks like it still has some significance. This price level looks like it has significance, especially in this area. And then in these blue lines, we see what looks like a symmetrical triangle forming. So, see right here. One touch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's still churning around. Okay, so projecting a breakout, normally the distance the distance to breakout is the distance projected to the apex and 3/4. So April to July, it's about, it's about 9 months, so we'll say 6 months, and so that gives us August, then that gives us just about the end of January, beginning of February that we'd expect a breakout. So our targets would then be, zoom this guy out, 25 on the top side and about 14 on the downside. So obviously a big range, something that was definitely tradable. So for right now, this pattern, classical technical analysis would say, don't trade it. Wait until there's the buy or sell signal. Okay, I'm not satisfied with that. So what would I do next? Next, I would see if any Fibonacci time series works. Unfortunately, since, well, Elliott Wave, DeMark, and Gann, they really only work well on broad markets like commodities and such. Let's see, how's the Fibonacci sequence working? Doesn't look like it's working at all. Maybe I'll do from the top of the pattern. Okay, there we go. Yeah, from the top of the pattern, this is working. So what it's telling us is that when you see one of these purple lines, there's going to be a major pivot. So what we can deduce from this is that skip the first few, and then pivot here, it goes down, pivot here, it's the eventual reversal downward, and then pivot here, which highlighted the key reversal day for its upswing. So what can we get from this? At this point, since we're guessing a breakout's going to be in January sometime, we can guess that in February there's going to be either a reversal to throwback or a complete reversal to failure. So that's the first thing. And also I still can't do cycle analysis on this, but what I can do, I can go over to the S&P 500 futures. We go to the 30-minute chart, and we can try to deduce what the market's going to do, because what we know is a rising tide raises all boats. So what I've observed is that there's about a 38-day cycle in the market, and as you see, I made this in October. It pinpointed the November low to the point. So now this one is telling us that we're currently at a peak, but what's showing even more bearish indication is that the actual price peaked to the left of the actual peak of the cycle bracket. That means that the uptrend is very weak and the downtrend is still in force. So we have that. Now let's take a look at another cycle. And this one is the larger 144-day cycle. So I'm going to take this, zoom it out. Just want to make sure that this is the right one. Bottom, major bottom, another major bottom, and this one was a little bit off, but close to a major bottom. So that's the 144-day cycle. So what are we seeing right now? Go back to the 6-month chart, or we'll just do the 1 year. And we're starting to come to the peak of this cycle. So at this point, what am I thinking? Market's going to go down because this is topping off and this is accelerating downward. And then we'll have a minor pivot second week of January, and then it looks like the first quarter of 2012 is going to be pretty rough for us until April. And actually, what we can do, we can take that time series again. I think that is the right one. No. Is this the right one? That might be the right one. And go out to the longer term charts. Let's see if this one works for us. Okay, yeah, that one doesn't work for us, but we can say that at the bottom of this wave, which is expected to be somewhere in April, there's a major pivot expected, and I'll actually color that one. Get that back in place. There we go. There's a major pivot just around April 18th. So that's a market outlook. Now back to Constellation Brands. There's one last thing I want to go over, and that's the RSI. The RSI index right now in the weekly chart, so I go to the 2-year weekly, is screaming sell. We have a downward sloping trend line here. First, we have a major divergence. Higher price, lower RSI, higher price, higher RSI. And it seems that every single time it touches this trend line, it's going to decline over the week. So right now, it is screaming sell, sell, sell. So unless it can break over this line and break over that trend line, I would not touch it at all. Okay, so I hope this helped.